Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. I am Duane from Two Goalies, One Mic, bringing you all the latest in this weekend's events between Team USA's dominance, the women's team dominance so far in their first three games, going 3-0 and outscoring their opponents 18-2. Obviously, NHL Allstar Weekend and Buffalo Sabres alumni, fan favorite Danny Briere, getting promoted to assistant general manager from the Philadelphia Flyers, going to be Chuck Fletcher's right-hand guy, and he's been kind of moving up in the ranks with Philadelphia, from the get-go. Briere, was and still is the president of their ECHL, the Eastern Coast Hockey League team, the Maine Mariners. Served as president for there, served as a bench coach for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, the AHL team, when they were short coaches due to COVID. Has been just moving up the ranks in scouting, player development. I know he worked a lot with, I think it was Ryan Ellis and Hayes when they were injured this season. He was working individually with them on the ice while they were rehabbing. He's been really just kind of hands-on with a lot of things in and around the Flyers organization. Maybe not directly with the Flyers, but again, with player development, scouting. I know he took part in scouting all the first-round talent in this last year's NHL draft before making their selection. So, this guy is a unbelievable hockey brain. We all remember how dominant he was as a player here in Buffalo, went on to Philly. And with Philly, he was dominant there too as well. I think just under a point per game playoff performer for Philadelphia. And the one year they went to the finals. I believe he led the playoffs in points that year. I think he had 30 some odd points in 28 games played or 20 something like that. But guy has just been an absolute clutch performer all throughout his career. So, he was a finalist too for the general manager position in Montreal before they went with Kent. Was it Kent Hull or not Kent Hull? Kent Hughes. I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but before they went with him, I know Danny Briere was a finalist. Again, a couple of clicks for Danny. I would have loved to see him come over to Buffalo at some point, but it looks like they're kind of grooming him to eventually maybe be the GM there, or maybe some upper management position. Again, you wouldn't, allow him to, I guess they allowed him to interview. I would assume he interviewed for that Montreal position, but you wouldn't consistently be grooming him the way you are unless you had big, big plans for Danny Briere. So again, a couple clicks for him. Congratulations to Danny Briere. Fan favorite of mine, out of him and Drury. I always wanted Briere back if I had to pick between the two. I think he was just a better hockey player. Granted, neither of them ended up winning a cup after leaving Buffalo, but I always just favored Briere. I thought he was the more productive hockey player. Again, congrats to Danny Briere, new assistant general manager for the Philadelphia Flyers. Good for him. And then let's get right into Team USA. Absolutely dominating again this morning, early morning game at just after 8:00 start time against Switzerland. Dominated them from start to finish, winning 8-0. They had a goalie change, and that goalie made close to 40 saves, only gave up 3 goals after they made that goalie change. I believe it was after the first period. They put their other tender in, and I'm unsure of her name, but she made like over 40 saves and only gave up 3 goals over 2 periods. U.S. just dominating from start to finish. But I think they had 3 players, all with 2 goals apiece. Hillary Knight being one of them. I know Comfer had a goal. Amanda Kessel had a goal. Just absolute dominant performance from Team USA against Switzerland, and again beating Finland to open up the round robin 5-2, and then they went on to beat the Republic of Russia, or Russian Olympic Committee or whatever it's called. Beat them 5-0, and then today against Switzerland 8-0. And of course, Alex Cavallini, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, getting her first Olympics win and shutout with 12 saves. Congrats to her. A couple clicks for her. Always love to seeing goalies getting shutouts. But again, dominating performance. Would totally expect them to be in that gold medal game against, we would presume, Canada, because it's just always them too. Again, as I stated before, just have them play a 7-game series. I think the entertainment value for that would be absolutely electric. If you're me, I love to see those 2 teams play each other in a best of 7. Who wouldn't, honestly, if you're a fan of hockey, especially with the rise of women's hockey? I think a lot more men are getting into it too, myself included, following the Buttes here in Buffalo. Also, a lot of former Buttes and one Western New Yorker representing Team USA. Megan Bozick, Danny Cameronesi, Haley Shimura, who's a Western New York native, Nicole Hensley, goaltender, who I believe had the shutout in the second game. Couple clicks for her, and of course Savannah Harmon, all former Buttes, and again one Western New Yorker. Congrats to them representing Team USA. You're making everybody here in Buffalo proud. Super excited to see the rest of this Olympics, and obviously see the men's tournament as well, which is soon to come. And of course we have NHL Allstar Weekend. Rasmus Dahlin, making his NHL All-Star Game debut, went 4 for 6 in shooting accuracy on Friday night. Was it Friday night? Yes, Friday night. Went 4 for 6 in 17.205 seconds. Missed 2 targets. Came in 4th in the shooting accuracy, but good for him. Obviously, it looks like he was having a lot of fun, even though watching it didn't look like any of the players from here having fun. I think the NHL All-Star Game is just night and day from what it used to be when I was growing up. Always seemed a lot more fun. It seemed the players took it more seriously. Nowadays, it's just like literally watching skate and shoot. It's like watching skate and shoot. It's terrible. I wish the players would take it a little bit more seriously or make it worth something. I don't know, like, if you're not going to go back to East versus West or even North America versus World, which were the good old days, maybe make it, whatever division wins the whole thing. Maybe you get a guaranteed game 7 home game in playoffs. I don't know. Make it interesting other than $1 million, split amongst a bunch of millionaires that they're probably all going to blow on the Vegas Strip that very same night. They're probably just going to blow that money anyway. So I just think you got to make it more worthwhile, make it worth something so they try harder. And, the only guy really trying out there was Claude Giroux, who, ended up with the MVP, scoring 3 goals and an assist. And I would expect him to no longer be a Philadelphia Flyer sooner rather than later. I see him being dealt probably before the deadline. A lot of teams that might be interested, obviously, would be like a team like the Avs, who really are just looking for that one piece to really push him over the edge and make him a cup favorite. Anaheim could use more center ice depth. Giroux could also play on the wing. He's very versatile in that manner. And the Leafs and Wild, the Minnesota Wild, those could be wild card teams too that might be in on him. Yes, obviously saw the Leafs trade assets for Nick Foligno last offseason, or last trade deadline didn't work, obviously, but you see that they're willing to make moves to really put themselves over the top, or maybe, unfortunately, I hope it doesn't happen, the Boston Bruins, because fuck the Bruins, hate them. Don't want to see anything to come out of the Boston Bruins organization ever again. That's just me though. But then Rasmus Dahlin, obviously, with a goal and an assist for the Atlantic in the tournament. Again, really nice breakaway goal on UC Saros from Nashville. Kind of did like the Charlie Conway, came in wide, like a triple deke almost, and then tucked it between his 5-hole, and it trickled across the line. Good for him, man. Like I said, he's had a lot of ups and downs this year, at least from the critics' standpoint. I know he's not the most defensive player, but I've always said we never drafted him to be a shutdown defenseman. Hopefully that side of his game gets better, but he's an offensively minded defenseman. He's, once you put a better team around him and give him more help on the blue line, because I don't think Yoki Haru is the answer on the other side. I think you're going to find a much more, reliable 200-foot Rasmus Dahlin. I'm not saying he's going to be a shutdown defenseman like a Victor Hedman, but, I definitely see that part of his game improving when that much pressure for this team to succeed doesn't rely so much on such a small handful of players, Rasmus Dahlin being one of them, who's only 21 years old. So totally expect him at some point when this team does fully, is ready to compete and contend, if that's next year or the following, that kid is going to really blossom even more. Again, I get it. He was the first overall pick. It shouldn't be taking this long, but this team has been a dumpster fire since before he was even drafted. So I'm not too worried about it yet, at least not until we have the team that's built around him before I'm going to really start to be extremely critical of Rasmus Dahlin. But, we'll see. And obviously, NFL Pro Bowl was today. I watched a little bit of that. It was absolutely terrible as well. It was like they're playing touch football out there. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. I was at a bar with a buddy of mine, just catching up, a guy I haven't seen in a while, and we were watching it, on the TV at an Applebee's, and holy crap, what a terrible, terrible event. They look like they're having fun, don't get me wrong, but that's not football. That's like two-hand touch. Might as well put flags on them and play flag football. I don't know. I was not a fan at all of watching the NHL All-Star game. I think I turned the skills competition off after like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's unwatchable to me. I will give Vegas credit though for trying with that little, create the best five card hand with shooting. I'll give them credit. It's an attempt to do something different. I'll give them that. I think the best part of the whole thing, personally for me, was the Zegras goal. That was unbelievable. Zegras goal was out of this world, paying homage to the movie Dodgeball, coming out in the average Joe's uniform. The blindfold, clearly we all know he probably definitely saw through it, and then did a unique type of Michigan goal, picks the puck up, does the twirl, and then tucks it in the net. So I don't even know who that goalie was, but he's just like a random goalie to get burned, in the All-Star skills competition. I don't even think he was really actually an NHL goaltender. So he was wearing the GoPro on his helmet. Unbelievable goal from Zegras. Kid's so exciting to watch. Absolutely electric. And obviously we all remember the makeshift Michigan from the pass he made to Milano over the net against, of course, Buffalo. Still so young, such an exciting player to watch. So just wish he was a Buffalo Sabre. Oh God. And obviously if Jack Eichel, he's kind of on his way to playing sooner rather than later. I think if the NHL players were allowed to go to Beijing, Jack Eichel would be playing right now 100%. I don't think there's anything that could have kept him out of this. At least go there as an extra and then maybe not play during the preliminary rounds, and then they have him for the medal rounds. I could definitely have seen, Team USA doing something like that. I don't, and I would have wanted that. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see Owen Power and Devin Levi represent Canada in the Olympics. But this is the first time in years, well over a decade, that obviously with the Olympics not being using professional athletes last time around either. But this is the deepest this team has been at center in a very, very long time. Your top two center would be Jack Eichel and Austin Matthews, two of the best centers in the entire world. Come on. That would have been so exciting to watch. Pat Kane on one of their wings. Sign me up. Unfortunately, we don't get to see that. Hopefully, maybe in 4 years we will. Who knows? I do know they talked about bringing back the World Cup of Hockey. There's been rumblings about that in the discussions, maybe in the next CBA in 2024. I've been an advocate for the World Cup of Hockey for a long time. For me, it's a no-brainer. It drives me insane that it's been as long as it has been since it's been talked about again. because it was so much fun the first time around. Team North America was an absolute, electric show. Electric Factory. For me, it was fun to watch, and I hope they do bring it back. It would just make sense to me. So, and obviously the NHL starts back up again this week. We have Buffalo playing. Looks like here the Columbus Blue Jackets Thursday, February 10th. They weren't playing that great of hockey coming into the All-Star break, dropping 2 of 3. Only game winning was 3 of 4 if you want to talk about that shit show that was the Ottawa Senators, losing 5-0, beating the Coyotes 3-1, and then losing to the Avalanche 4-1, and then the Vegas Golden Knights 5-2. Again, they'll be back on action on Thursday, February 10th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I believe that it is a home game. I want to say it's a home game, and again, the Montreal traveling, looks like they'll be traveling to Montreal Sunday, February 13th. So hopefully they can come in and get a couple wins there, get back into their winning ways. They never had a winning way this season. Barrett, pretty dreadful to watch, almost unwatchable hockey, especially those games against Ottawa. The Golden Knights and the Avalanche, just absolutely shit all over. Personally, it was unwatchable hockey. But again, this has been another edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. No really Sabres news to report on right now. But just 3 words. Let's go Buffalo. And, I will talk to you guys later.